This is not your typical, if you're over 40, never wear shorts again, or don't wear graphic tees. This is not that kind of video. I want to share with you some things that are fashion and beauty related, etc., but also not, okay? Just stick with me, all right? We're going to talk about the things that once you hit that 40, all right, that 40 mark, stuff you got to say bye-bye to. Goodbye, see you later, sayonara, no more. The very first one is out of date style rules. I see this all the time where it's like the rules of what you can wear, color, fit, all of that kind of stuff. Like if you're over the certain age, you shouldn't wear this certain thing. Listen. You wear what you like, what you feel good in, what makes you feel like you. You know, the whole idea that like age is just a number is true. Women over 40 do tend to feel more comfortable. I think it kind of goes hand in hand. When you really feel good in your skin, you feel confident, you gravitate sometimes towards more mature clothing anyways, especially when it comes to all the rules that we have in our head about colors. You can't wear white after Labor Day. You can't mix navy and black. There's so many rules that many of us have gotten in our heads that we have a really hard time letting go of. While some of them are there for a very good reason, I'm a big fan of the idea that rules are best broken by those who know them. So like understanding why that style rule was ever in place to begin with can really help you to understand why, if you choose to break it, how you can break it best and still like understand the spirit behind it before you just go tearing it down. So we want the balance of not feeling beholden to a bunch of outdated style rules, but also not running around tearing down fences, you know, the old Chesterton's fence idea, not just tearing down fences without first understanding why they were put up. Number two, if you are over the age of 40, I feel like this is even if you're a teenager, but when you're a teenager, you kind of don't really care. And when you're in your 20s, you don't really care. 20s to 30s, you might be having kids and that changes things. Over the age of 40, we got to dispense with ill-fitting undergarments. Hear me say this to you. You don't have to spend a fortune to get a really nice bra. There are some bras that are worth every penny of that slightly expensive price tag, but you don't have to spend a fortune to get a very nice bra. And having the proper fit to your bra changes everything. It's going to change. It's like building your house on a poor foundation. Your outfits, no matter how great they are, many of them, especially if they have a tighter fit to them, are going to look so much better when you have the proper undergarments. The very first thing you need to know, I'm going to give you just like a couple cliff notes here, and then down below in the description box, I have a guide to walk you through every single step of how to get the exact perfect fit, what cut and style of bra you need for what kind of boob you have, okay? That's the truth. Some of us have denser breast tissue that's heavier and full. Some people have very large breasts, but their tissue is kind of light and fluffy, if you will. So there's a lot to understand if you really want to get a bra that fits correctly and feels good, okay? So check out that guide if you want me to walk you through step by step how to get the right fit for your bra. The best part is that once you've figured it out and you know it, you understand it, it will make it so much easier for you, especially when you know the cut of bra that works best for you, the style of bra that works best for you. I'm a firm believer that as wives and mothers, this idea that we have to like fall on our sword and just completely forget that we exist, it's not only detrimental to us, I don't believe it's actually helpful to our families at all. I could go on a long rant about this, but I won't. It's not setting a good example for our kids to not take care of ourselves. I'm not talking about prioritizing yourself above everybody else, but I am saying that you cannot forget about yourself, particularly your health. I talk about this a lot because I think it's really important, especially if you are over 40. We're entering that kind of back half of life. I really want to see my children grow up and get married and have kids. I don't want to live forever, but I do want to live as healthy as I can and be around to see as much of those things as I can as my kids grow up, which is exactly why I continue to partner with MIDI Health and why I love them so much. This video is sponsored by MIDI. I've worked with them so much over this last year because I really believe in their mission, which is to provide compassionate and high quality care to women in all stages of life that's covered by insurance. They really can address a whole breadth of issues. MIDI is great because you can do virtual visits right from your home. It makes it very, very easy to say yes and not miss an appointment. It's really really so simple to book your visit. You meet with your clinician in your virtual visit, you discuss your symptoms, then they let you know what are the next best steps moving forward. They can help with perimenopause, menopause, weight loss, skin care. They now offer these new longevity appointments, these age well appointments. I started using MIDI Health specifically for skincare concerns. That is where I was introduced to my favorite estrogen cream, the estriol cream. The estriol cream that I always tell you guys about because it's estrogen and hyaluronic acid smashed into one, and it is a game changer for like reverse aging your skin. I love it so much. I use it every single day. And I love that it was so easy to just book the appointment online, show up to my virtual visit. And I really loved the clinician that I met with. She was fantastic, listened to everything that I had to say. I did not feel rushed at all. So I personally have used MIDI Health and I highly, highly recommend them. If you are looking for compassionate and high quality care that is covered by your insurance, I highly recommend that you check out MIDI Health. You can use my link down below in the description box to book your first visit. All right, so we're moving ourselves up to one of the front burners. We're not putting ourselves on the back burner. That leads me very nicely into number 4, which is we are saying goodbye to this idea that it's too late. Thinking that it's too late for anything, whether it's something about your life that you want to change, whether it's a goal that you want to set for yourself, whether it's you just want to learn a new skill or trade or hobby. We are no longer buying into the idea that it's too late, that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah, you can. You certainly can. I know that this old dog has learned a lot of new tricks over the last 5 to 10 years. Over 30, over 35 version of me has become so much more interested in learning new things, learning new skills, acquiring new abilities. I find it fun and fascinating. I enjoy learning now more than I ever did as a kid. So it's never too late. It's never too late to expand your knowledge, to learn new things. And while there's some things that might not make a lot of sense and you might want to balance out, like for me personally, I love the law and legal stuff and courtrooms and trials. And I really, really enjoy, I mean, that is what I listen to most of the time is trials, court TV, like actual trials, arguments. And my favorite part are the arguments outside the presence of the jury. I love listening to the lawyers argue motions, and it's fascinating to me. However, I don't see myself going to law school. That's not really what I desire. It's not because I think it's too late or anything like that. It's just not quite how I want to use my time. But that doesn't mean that I can't continue to throw myself into that whole sphere and learn as much as I possibly can because I'm interested in it. I think it's really important that we not get caught up in this idea of like, oh, it's too late or why bother. Sometimes some things are worth doing just for the sake of doing them because you enjoy it. It brings you some kind of peace, some kind of joy, some kind of excitement, some kind of entertainment. Like all of that is valuable to your overall well-being. And it's okay to explore areas and ideas that you are interested in. Okay, I told you we're going to bounce around here. Number 5 is we are saying goodbye to saving anything for a rainy day. I don't care if it's clothes. I don't care if it's china. I don't care what it is. We're not saving things for a rainy day anymore. That day has come. It is here. I think one of the most freeing things for me has been accepting that like things are just things. And it's not that I don't want to be a good steward of what I have. I do. I don't want to be careless with valuables that I own. But there's a big difference between being careless and being anal retentive, okay? There's a huge difference between leaving everything that's nice behind glass and never touching it, never using it, never getting its use out of it and being careless, okay? That's a very different thing. And so for me, I have stopped saying like, well, I can't wear my nice shoes or I can't wear that nice dress or we can't use the nice dishes or just anything like that. I've let go of that. And arguably, I think that you should too. I think that a lot of the things that perhaps you've been, kind of storing up and tucking away for a rainy day. There's a lot of people who wish that they had a sunny day to wear and use those items, who never got another rainy day to use them. And I certainly don't want to squander the time I have. Use the things that I own. That's what they're meant for, right? To wear the outfits, to use the things, instead of just sitting around waiting for some perfect time or some very specific time and set of circumstances that really only comes around every once in a while. In fact, I have no guarantee that it'll ever come around again, or that I'll be here when it comes around again, you know? Number 6 is that we are no longer trading quality for quantity, okay? At this particular age in my life, I am at a place where I would rather have a few nice things, and by nice, I mean quality things, instead of a bunch of, like, a quantity of crap, okay? Invest in some quality pieces that I really love, that are gonna stand the test of time. And that also brings me to number 7, which is learn tailoring if you can, okay? Like, let me just say this, is to prioritize fit, okay? That is arguably one of the number one issues that people have with their wardrobe, is the fit, is that you can have the nicest quality thing. You can even have the fancy schmancy designer thing, but if the fit is poor for you, the item is never going to look on you how it does on perhaps the model or, in the store, etc. If you are like, listen, I don't have the money to pay somebody, you can learn. There are very simple books and online resources and things to learn the basics of tailoring. My mother, who is an expert quilter and a master quilter, as they say, and she also is an incredible seamstress and dressmaker. She used to make a lot of our Halloween costumes and dresses for dances in high school and things like that. She is currently working with me on a little mini course for you guys to learn the basics of tailoring, so that you can make garments fit you better yourself at home, whether it's bringing a little seam in the side on something that's a little too baggy, or a hem. I know a lot of you, shorter gals, fun-sized gals, always having to hem pants. And if you don't know how to properly hem pants and have this weird-looking hem, you want to keep the original hemline, etc. There's a lot that you can learn to be able to make your garments fit you perfectly. And of course, if you're like, I don't have the time, I don't want to do that, you can always hire someone. You can always go to a seamstress or a tailor to get your garments to fit you exactly as they should. I think that that is more important than almost anything else, is the garments fitting you properly. Number 8, when it comes to trends, we are taking a take it or leave it approach, okay? No more do we have to participate, and we never did, but you do not have to participate in every trend that comes around. Arguably, many of them will not be trends that will be necessarily things that you even like, that are going to look good on you, that are going to fit, kind of your style personality, if you will. So I think having a very take it or leave it approach is a healthy way to deal with trends. There's things that come around and I'm like, nope, I'm not even going to bother. Nope. Like, for example, animal print is back again. It's been kind of easing its way back in the last year or two, and leopard is huge right now. I don't mind leopard. I like leopard, but zebra is also making an appearance. No, thank you. I will it's a hard pass for me. No, it's a leave it. Okay. It's a leave it for me. You got to take it or leave it and then let it go. I wish that this tiny little fuzz that is itching my face would have a leave it approach and leave me alone. This one I think is very important, is understanding, especially at this point in our life, while we want quality over quantity, stylish and looking nice does not have to be expensive. There are so many great options out there nowadays. I've spoken about this many times before, that really the key is having a good base wardrobe, having good, like 70, just depending on your personal style here, anywhere from 60 to 80% of your wardrobe being good quality basics, and then that other percentage, whichever you fall on, sort of the spectrum of 40 to 20% being more of like trendy, like on trend, more bold kind of things in your closet, accessorizing, etc. And even more than having the right split, is making sure that what you do spend your money on, what you do invest in nicer things, whether it's the splurge, the spend, the save. For the items that you wear most, the things that are most worn, those should be the things that you spend/splurge on, are your most worn items. Now, if you get up and go to the office every day, that might be like trousers and blazers and things like that. If you don't, then it might be good quality joggers or sweatshirts or whatever it is that you wear the most, making sure that those are a good quality, you'll be happy and comfy in them, and they'll actually last you a really long time. So if you're like a jeans and t-shirt gal, then I would recommend that you invest in some high quality, good quality denim and good quality basic, t-shirts and stuff. The nice thing is that, like I said, there's lots of brands like Quince, who I love, that make good quality pieces that are affordable, or at least fairly priced, I would say, compared to, just an $8 Target tee that's only going to make it one season. That's fine if that's not your everyday wardrobe. But if that's your everyday wardrobe, then you might consider stepping it up to the spend splurge category for whatever the items are that you wear the most. We have to let go of completely and say goodbye to completely this idea that like somehow our life is over and we're just dead after 40, that there ain't no more living to do, that we've just been rode hard and hung up wet. And especially when it comes to style. I say that because as I'm filming this, it's very recently come out, the passing of Diane Keaton. And I think of her, she passed at, I believe, 79, because there's a lot of women just like Diane Keaton, and many of whom didn't hit their sort of style stride until after 40. Up to that point, they were just kind of here and there and everywhere with what they were wearing. And after 40, they really kind of figured out their style and are now seen as like style icons and women who dress really well. That wasn't part of like what they were known for until they were over the age of 40. And here's the thing. I'm telling you all of this to say that really the truth is that many, many, many women feel their most confident or more confident in their 40s than they did in their 20s. And that is something that I think is a little overlooked, because we often, maybe it's just because we're not paying attention to what women over 40 are saying, I don't know. But a lot of women are much more confident in that age bracket than they ever were in their 20s. A lot of women in that 40 plus range will tell you that like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I've lived through enough. I've seen enough trends come and go. I've seen enough styles come and go that I now know what I really like. I'm not as tempted by certain trends. I can say yes to something that I think might fit in, but I can also easily say no. And that they feel like they can really dress for themselves, dress for the things that they love. I know for me, that's exactly how I feel, is that in my 20s and 30s, I always have worn things that I liked, but I was much more taken onto the whims or by the whims of what was, what everybody else was wearing. Whereas now, especially in my like late 30s and into my early 40s, I'm much more confident to wear what I love and what I think looks good, what I feel my best in, whether or not it is trendy or fashionable at the moment. Like I said, it's always exciting when the things that you love are on trend, i.e. scarves, and kind of the like equestrian town and country vibes, English countryside, like just all of the boho, like all the things that I love. A lot of those things are on trend this year. But guess what? When they're not on trend anymore, I'm still going to be wearing them. That's my style. Those are the things that I love. So I feel like that confidence, it really does, at least for me and a lot of women I know, it's absolutely there after 40, and way more than it was in my 20s, for sure. I definitely would have felt more tempted to conform in my 20s, where I don't feel that temptation anymore to conform. If I like it, I wear it. If I don't, I don't. All right, we made it to the end, my friend. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you do want some help figuring out the right bra size for you, you can find that down below in the description box, as well as the information to book your first MIDI health visit if you'd like to give them a try. I highly recommend. That's it for me today. Hopefully you'll subscribe and come back again for another video. I'd love to have you back, see you back around here again. But with that, I will say goodbye, and I will see you again, hopefully very soon.